guys, Robby46 here, welcoming yourselves to round 9 of Robbo's Racing League on MotoGP 17 on the Xbox One. Today we're racing at Sachsenring, and after this race it will mark the halfway point of the league. So let's hope that it's going to be a cracking race as always. Let's go have a look to see how qualifying went. No surprises, who's on pole position? It's Jack. He's followed by Mr. Troyello in second place and myself in third. F1 Fan is in fourth, Lone Wolf fifth, Stealing Set sixth, Typical Mikey seventh, Chutney BMX eighth, Gidsy ninth, Jamie 10th and Dr. Monty in 11th. With Breaking Brad unfortunately not able to race this week, but he will be back for next week's race. So let's go have a look at Jack's qualifying lap. So there we go, just coming to start a lap. He's already just set pole position into the first corner. Of course, it's such a short circuit this one, so I have upped the laps by 2 laps, so we'll be doing 12 laps instead of 10. Just because, well, you can see the lap times in the 1:15s. Most other people doing 1:16s, so it is a very short lap around here. And the race would have been over in about 10 minutes or so. So I just banged a couple extra laps on it just to make the race a little bit longer, or as long as the other races. So currently Jack is on the exact same pace as what he has been the previous lap. And then down the waterfall. Love that corner when you get it right. Not a fan of this corner. Typical Mikey crashing. Final corner is a bit of a bastard as well if you get it wrong. And then just the run to the line, and we'll start the race. So here we go for the start of the race. Me top left, Jack top right, Mr. Troyello bottom left, and Chutney BMX bottom right. Here we go, off the line. I got a semi-decent start. Chutney BMX, he got an absolutely shocking start as he bogged down quite a few times. Into the first corner, I got hit by an unseen force and into Lone Wolf, which unfortunately made Lone Wolf crash. We'll have a look at that again in a little bit. So I was up to 4th at the moment as I got hit from behind there by a Yamaha, and momentarily up to 3rd place. Stealing Set in, well, up the inside into 3rd. I try getting up the inside. Chutney BMX makes up a few more places as well. Jack, he's in the lead of course, and he's got Ducati right behind him, Mr. Troyello. Through the quick left-hander, Typical Mikey goes through on me. And we ended up having a collision, and both end up going down. And Stealing Set, he ended up crashing as well. So I'm down to 9th place at the moment. Lone Wolf has just come back through. A pretty hectic first lap at the moment as I go very wide. It's almost went into the back of Lone Wolf. Around to finish the first lap. And that was the first lap done and dusted. Okay, so here's a replay of that first turn incident. And I did unfortunately get hit by, I don't know what, an unseen force. So I think there was a little bit of lag there, which unfortunately caused me to go into Lone Wolf. And then Typical Mikey goes through, goes wide, and then unfortunately we ended up colliding. And we'll see that from Typical Mikey's view as well. So here we go. He comes up the inside, but runs a bit wide. I put it up the inside. You can't actually see me on his screen till very late. Unfortunately, a flying Honda actually took him out. I didn't even realise that. So with me on lap number 2, down in 9th place. You got Stealing Set in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. And Mr. Troyello just gone off screen there, and that actually put me off during the race. So me go across the first corner, and Stealing Set done exactly the same following me as Typical Mikey goes up the inside of Stealing Set. So currently I'm in 8th now as Stealing Set tries to repay the favour to Typical Mikey and gets back up to 9th. Crash there for someone, that was one of these Suzukis. So that moved me up to 7th and Stealing Set up to 8th, but unfortunately he clipped the inside curb and down he went. So he'd lost a few more places. 7th place for me. So not the best of starts after that collision unfortunately with Typical Mikey. Unfortunately, just one of those things. Down the waterfall. And a bit wide there. Managed to cut it back. Guys in front, they're all chopping and changing, so they're slowing each other down, and that is Dr. Monty, who just went very wide, so he's not that far away from us now. Also on lap number 2 with Chutney BMX, he was in 5th place at the moment, with Jamie just ahead of him on the Suzuki. That was one of the Yamahas going very wide. I believe that is Gidzy, who's currently in 3rd place. Jamie trying to get up the inside of him, and does so. Gidzy back down to 4th, but he goes back up the inside. Jamie just managing to hold it. That was F1 fan who just crashed there. So that was the Suzuki that went down. Chutney BMX is up to 3rd at the moment, but just lost out to Gidzy there, trying to hang it round the outside. Not quite happening at the moment. Let's put the inside for the quick left-hander. Gidzy does it to Jamie, as does Chutney BMX. Jamie went in there a bit too wide and lost 2 positions. Chutney BMX tries to shove up the inside of Gidzy. Gidzy's got the correct line for the downhill. Gidzy stays in 2nd place. Goes wide there. Chutney tries shoving it up the inside. Doesn't quite work. Into the final corner. Chutney goes very wide. Jamie comes back underneath him for the Suzuki. Chutney gets a good drive out though. Also on lap number 2 as well with Mr. Troilo. This is his mistake. He just went very wide and too hot into the first corner. Just missed out on the barrier. It was very lucky for him. So typical Mikey just ahead of him, trying to get through the pack again. And Mr. Troilo down in last place at the moment. He's going to try and pick off some places in the first couple of laps as he goes up the inside of typical Mikey. There's F1 fan who just crashed. Got Steel and Set, who's just crashed there, just went across the curb. And you got 2 up the inside of Mr. Troilo there. So Mr. Troilo back down to 10th place. Kicking the ass end out of the Ducati, quite a bit going into corners. Trying to get around F1 fan. Down the hill, trying to go the long way around, pulling a big wheelie. Trying to outbrake him up the inside. Got it stopped, so moved up to 9th place. Final corner, close right in on typical Mikey and push him a little bit wide. Back with me on lap number 3. Now you got Dr. Monty in the bottom left hand corner. He's just ahead of me as he just goes very wide there. I try to cut underneath him. Of course, he's on the left for the left-hander. A bit of a collision there. Nothing too bad. There's another Suzuki crash in there. So I was up to 6th. Dr. Monty up to 5th. And you got 3 ahead who are fighting for the podium. Obviously, Jack long gone. So I've got to try and make my way through on Dr. Monty. Close right in there. Got a much better exit, but on the wrong side. Trying to take a tighter line. Trying to get better exits. Through the double left. And then down the hill. Took a tighter line, got better drive, and through I go up to 5th place. Into the left-hander. Dr. Monty unfortunately went across the curb and down he went and out of 6th place. So a mistake there. And I was starting to catch the 3 guys ahead of me. Mr. Troilo on lap number 3. Of course, he was still battling with typical Mikey. Just getting the better of him into the first corner. But yeah, got a Suzuki there. F1 fan, typical Mikey both come through. Bit of a collision then. Typical Mikey goes down again. There's that other Suzuki. So that Suzuki was Jamie who crashed. And went straight into the back of Mr. Troilo there and pushed him wide. We did allow Mr. Troilo back through. So 8th place for Mr. Troilo at the moment. Typical Mikey not having a great race at the moment. So there's me and Dr. Monty battling just ahead of F1 Fan. You see me overtake him again as Mr. Troilo went across the curb. That was very lucky there. Because sometimes you can crash. As F1 Fan just crashed going across the curb on the inside. It's not a good place you want to be crashing. Well, no place is a good place to crash. There's Dr. Monty's crash as well. So up to 6th place for Mr. Troilo now. Now he's going to try and hunt me down. Okay, so lap number 4. You've got Chutney BMX in the bottom left hand corner of your screen. So I'm just behind these guys. I caught them up. You've got Chutney BMX in 4th place. Gidzy in 3rd and Lone Wolf in 2nd place. Me in 5th, just behind these guys. Lone Wolf went very wide there. Gidzy tried to put it up the inside but couldn't quite do it as Lone Wolf closed the door at the last minute. Just trying to gain a bit of time and catch up to these guys. Of course, I know that I had Mr. Troilo just behind. He was going to try and close in as well. We go down the hill, got a good run on Chutney BMX. Go to the inside, and we're up to 4th place. And Chutney BMX did exactly the same as what Dr. Monty done and went on the curb into the left, and down he went. So he dropped a few positions into the final corner. A nice, good run through there. 4th place at the moment. Dr. Monty on lap number 4. He was in 8th place at the moment. He had typical Mikey just behind him. Tries to come through on the inside. Dr. Monty's got the inside for the left. Typical Mikey manages to hold it there. Dr. Monty goes a bit too hot into there. Hello's typical Mikey back 3. Again shoves up the inside. And again shoves up the inside again. Going on the curb. Luckily not crashing. F1 Fans come back through up to 10th place. Ooh, on the curb again, lifting the rear up, losing a bit of time there. Ooh, the right handing down the hill, wheeling down the hill. To the left. F1 Fan and typical Mikey battling just ahead now. So F1 Fan goes up the inside. Dr. Monty getting a bit wide. Lap number 5 with Stealing Set. He was down in 11th place at the moment. He's 4.8 behind Dr. Monty and over 5 seconds behind F1 Fan. Typical Mikey's just crashed. And there he is. So Stealing Set making up another position. Just see me battling with Gidzy at the moment. So Stealing Set goes very, very wide there. Jack's just put the fastest lap in. F1 Fan and Chutney BMX are battling. There's someone just ahead. That is Dr. Monty. He's had another crash and Stealing Set moves through up to 9th place now. Not that far behind Chutney BMX now, I think that is in 8th place. Yes it is, his teammate. Lap number 6, back with me. And I was battling with Gidzy, but Mr. Troilo was trying to come through as well. I go a little bit wide. Mr. Troilo tried to come up the inside, but I managed to hang it around the outside and stay in 4th place. See Lone Wolf is there as well, just ahead. Got to try and get past Gidzy. Try to get up the inside here. So up to 3rd place momentarily. Through the left-hander. Get a good run on the curb a little bit. Into the left-hander. Gidzy tried coming up the inside there and does so, pushing me a little bit wide. I must go straight into the back of him as well. I thought I need to get a good run down the hill. So down the hill we go. Gidzy got a pretty good run as well. Mr. Troilo almost went straight to the back of me there into the left-hander. Into the final corner I go a little bit wide. Try and cut it back to get a good exit. Send his slipstream, but he's moving all over the place to stop me using his slipstream. Into the first corner, Mr. Troilo, he comes through. Tried to hang it around the outside again, but this time unfortunately did not happen. And then through this long right, Mr. Troilo goes a little bit wide, so I try to go up the inside, but unfortunately it doesn't quite happen. And unfortunately I end up crashing. Luckily I didn't take Mr. Troilo with me. That was a bit of an optimistic move for me, but I saw a gap so I went for it and unfortunately just penalised myself. So Mr. Troilo still in 4th place, Gidzy still in 3rd, and now I've got a lot of work to do to try and catch back up to those guys. Of course I got Jamie right behind me now on the Suzuki, and he's going to want to try and come past. Try and pull my shit together, catch back up with those front guys. And that was Mr. Troilo there. He had gone off track. He got the side saddle animation through the right hander before the waterfall and ended up off track. So back up to 4th place. Now I just got to get the hammer down to see if I can catch up to Gidzy in 3rd and try and take a podium. Lap number 9 with F1 Fan. He's got his teammate Jamie just ahead of him, so the Suzuki's in flying formation. So both go down the hill. Mr. Troilo, he's in 7th place, a bit further behind as Jamie goes very wide. F1 Fan moves up to 5th place. So that is me just ahead of him now. F1 Fan, he's going to push to see if he can catch back up to me. Lap number 10 with me. I was catching Gidzy, but would it be enough? It come down by about a second. There's 2.1 at the moment. So I had to keep pushing to see if I could catch up to Gidzy. Try and steal that 3rd place off of him. It's going to be a big ask because we've got 3 laps left including this one. So still a bit of time to do it, but I had to try and push. Lane Wolf, he was secure in 2nd place. Jack was way out front. F1 Fan and Jamie still swapping positions. Dr. Monty crashes a bit further back. Unfortunately, typical Mikey, I don't know if he disconnected or if he quit. He wasn't having a very good race. He did end up having quite a few crashes. F1 Fan's just had a crash, that's given me a bit of breathing space. And Gidzy has got off track there. He was in the gravel. That allowed me to go into 3rd place. That gifted me a podium. So Gidzy down to 5th now. This is F1 Fan on lap number 10. So I'm still in 4th at the moment. Gidzy's not made that mistake just yet. And F1 Fan was pushing to try and close in on me. So his teammate just behind him. So who would have the honours of top Suzuki? And he was starting to catch me. He was slowly just edging closer towards me. Just under a second up to me, just under a second back to his teammate who was in 6th place through the double left-hander. Down the hill, he went across the curb and down he went. That was when he crashed and he had a lot of work to do. So I was up to 3rd now with Gidzy going very wide. Mr. Troilo would come through and he was up to 6th. F1 Fan trying to go up the inside into the final corner. Manages to do so. But will Mr. Troilo get a better run? Yes, he will, with F1 Fan having that big rear end moment. Ducati just getting slightly ahead into the first corner. F1 Fan trying to go around the outside to put him in the inside for the left, but not quite happening. Again, just trying to sneak through. But of course, he didn't want to make the same mistake I did, as Mr. Troilo went across the little dip there, and that sent him very wide. And F1 Fan was back up to 6th place. Made a bit of a mistake there. Mr. Troilo got a better run out. Trying to go around the outside of him. That's not going to work. And you got Mr. Troilo in the bottom left. So go through the double left. Mr. Troilo going up the inside. F1 Fan has the inside for the right as they go through. A little bit of a connection which sends Mr. Troilo very wide. Mr. Troilo again just closing in on the brakes. These guys have got one more lap to try and sort it out as Mr. Troilo goes for the inside, and down goes F1 Fan, unfortunately crashing. Now he had to see if he could stay in 7th place. He's got Chutney BMX just behind him. Chutney was going to see if he could go through, but F1 Fan hit him in the rear. But he did actually slow down to allow Chutney BMX back through. So that was nice of him. So F1 Fan down to 8th, Chutney BMX up to 7th. Could F1 Fan regain that 7th place? So this is of course the final lap. Chutney going a little bit wide. Through the long left. Closing in a little bit through there. Could he get him downhill? Would he take a better line? He got a very good drive there. Trying to get alongside him, not quite happening. But Chutney goes very wide, and up the inside goes F1 Fan. Would Chutney try and outbrake him into the final corner? He got a good run there. Looks to the inside, but F1 Fan has it covered. And now it's just the run to the line, and it's a very short run. Also on the last lap, you got Jamie in 4th place on the Suzuki and Gidzy in 5th place. Could Gidzy catch up to Jamie, only half a second behind? They go through the long left-hander. 0.8 to Jamie now, so Jamie was starting to pull away. Gidzy was going to try and give it his all to try and catch up, as Jamie goes very wide and into the gravel and crashes out of 4th place on the final lap. Gidzy, he's up to 4th, goes down the hill. He's got a big gap, 1.8 to Mr. Troilo now in 5th. So decides to pull a wheelie before getting into the final corner. And then again pulls another wheelie to the line. And that's the end of the race, so Jack took the win, followed by Lone Wolf in 2nd place. I came home in 3rd, after having a couple of crashes. Gidzy ends up in 4th, Mr. Troilo in 5th, Jamie 6th, F1 Fan in 7th, Chutney BMX, he comes home in 8th place. As we wait for the others. And Dr. Monty and Stealing Set ran the wrong way for the result, so Stealing Set, who finished in 9th, and Dr. Monty in 10th, and Typical Mikey gets 11th place. So that was a very hectic race, but quite an entertaining one, and with it being such a short circuit, it's difficult to overtake, and also yeah, if you get into a battle, it can really hold you up, but a good battle nonetheless. So let's see what that has done to the championship. Well, of course, Jack extends his lead at the top with 225 points. I'm still in 2nd place with 132, but closing in still is Lone Wolf in 3rd with 125. Typical Mikey, he moves down to 4th with 116. F1 Fan is in 5th with 78. Stealing Set is in 6th with 77. His teammate Chetney BMX is in 7th, just behind with 74. Mr. Troilo, he moves up to 8th place now with 67, ahead of Gidsy in 9th with 63. Jamie's in 10th with 60. Bird is to Word in 11th with 57. Of course, he's no longer racing. Dr. Monty, 1 point behind in 12th with 56. Morgan, who's no longer racing as well, in 13th with 37. Breaking Brad, who will be back next week for Brno, is in 14th with 6. And AMS Blaze is in 15th with 6. Now let's have a look at the team championships. Red Bull KTM still at the top with 281. But Ducati slowly starting to close them in a little bit more race by race. They're in 2nd with 257. Tech 3 Yamaha was still in 3rd with 194. But the factory Yamaha team, Movistar Yamaha, are really closing in. Just 11 points behind with 183. Repsol Honda, they're in 5th with 151. And Suzuki are in 6th with 137. So that is it for round 9. That marks the halfway point of the league. The next race will be at Brno, and that will be on Monday the 25th of September. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel for more content, and I shall see you guys in the next video. See you!